Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I've been getting a lot of comments regarding what you should do if you're just starting out in aviation. So today I'm bringing you a complete guide on how to become a pilot in 2020. The first thing that I would tell somebody who is just getting into aviation to do is to do your research. There is a wealth of knowledge on the internet, on YouTube, on social media, just like the video you're watching right now. There is so much information that you can absorb and soak up. If you learn as much as you can before you even go to an airport, you will be well ahead of everybody else. This brings me to my second thing that I would tell somebody to do, and that is to go take a discovery flight. Almost any local airport will have a flight school on it that you can go and buy a discovery flight for around $100 to $150. Basically, an instructor will take you up in the air and you'll get to fly the airplane yourself, and you'll get to see if this is really something you want to do. There's no point in investing all this money in learning to fly if you're not interested in it. So discovery flight is very important. So if you take a discovery flight and you decide, hey, this is something that I really want to pursue, I'm going to advise you to know your goal. Now, knowing what your goals are is very important. If you want to become a professional pilot, well, then you need more than just a private pilot's license. And if you just want to do it for fun, then you're probably only going to get your private pilot license and maybe an instrument rating on top of that. I'm going to talk about what each license means coming up. There are 3 different types of pilot certificates that you're going to get depending on what you want to do with aviation. There's your private pilot license, your commercial pilot license, and your airline transport pilot license. Now, I say license, the technical term is certificate, but you really won't hear that too often. So if you just want to do this for fun, then your private pilot license, or PPL, which you'll often hear it referred to as, is probably what you're going to go get. You could go to any flight school and get your PPL there. You can then add on what's called an instrument rating. This allows you to fly under IFR conditions. When you have a PPL, you can only fly under VFR conditions, visual flight rules. In simpler terms, this basically means when you have your private pilot license, you can't fly above a certain altitude and you can't fly through clouds. With your instrument rating, you can do all of those things. The next type of pilot license is the commercial license. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, the commercial license. That must mean you fly commercial jets, right? Well, not necessarily. All a commercial pilot license does is it allows you to be hired to fly airplanes. This doesn't mean the big jets at an airline. It could mean a Cessna 172. If you want to be a flight instructor, you need a commercial pilot license. As a private pilot, you cannot be hired to fly airplanes. The airline transport pilot license, or ATP, is the highest license that you can receive from the FAA. This is a license that permits you to fly for an airline or for a corporate company. Just because airline is in the name doesn't necessarily mean that you can only use it to fly for an airline. Now, each one of these licenses have their own hour requirements. You need 40 hours to become a private pilot, 250 hours to become a commercial pilot, and 1,500 hours to become an ATP. Now, those are the standard numbers, but if you want to get really into it, I would advise you to click this video where I compare different flight schools, because at certain flight schools, certain hour requirements are different. So now you know what you want out of aviation, and you know what license that you're going to go for. Now you need to start flying. But wait, before you start flying, you typically do what's called ground school. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's school on the ground, not in an airplane. This is going to teach you about flying because you need a certain base knowledge before you actually start training. There are a few really popular ground schools like Sporty's Pilot Shop and King's Aviation. I will link both of those down in the description. If you're interested, check them out. So now you've completed ground school and you're excited because you could finally start flight training. This is a super exciting time, obviously, because this is the first time that you're going to get to go into a GA airplane and train. You need to fly consistently. If you want to get your private pilot license, which everyone has to start out with, then you need to fly a minimum of every other week, if not every week. The more you fly, the quicker you can get it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Somebody who only flies a couple hours a month is probably going to take upwards of a year to get their license. Somebody who flies every single day, well, now you're looking at even maybe a month. So depending on how much you want to fly and how committed you are to studying and self-studying, because that's just as important as studying with your flight instructor, then that's how fast you'll be able to receive your license. So now let's talk about if you want to do this as a career. What are you going to need? Well, you have to go to flight school. I made a video on that comparing the two main types of flight schools, which I'll link right here. And if you haven't watched that, be sure to go watch that so you understand what I'm talking about right now. So if you're young like me and you want to go to college for aviation, then that's an option. Or if you want to go 61, that's also an option. But you need to get your certificates and ratings generally as soon as possible. But don't rush the process. Quicker isn't always better. Sometimes if you do it too fast, you can miss a lot of important things that you should learn along the way. I hope that this video answered a lot of the questions that I've been getting in the comment section. If you still have any questions, do not hesitate to put them down in the comment section below, and I will be sure to respond to you as soon as I can. With that being said, I appreciate you clicking on this video, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to click that subscribe button and drop a like on this video. Until next time, I want you to stay current, stay proficient, and keep the blue side up. Fly safe, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.
Flying, you know I've been flying. I've been in the sky, touching clouds, ain't denying. Smiling, 100 knots on the dash at my pitch, while my trim, I keep on climbing. Straight to the top, I've been on my way. This ain't nothing new, I do it.